Is Tommy Shelby really the Immortal Man? Well, let me tell you, this film is gonna let you know. I really, really enjoyed it. From start to finish, I was completely and utterly locked in. The new look Peaky Blinders wasn't actually something I was excited for. I didn't think I'd really care about them, but actually, the way that Tommy Shelby's son, Duke, is portrayed in this by Barry Keoghan is absolutely phenomenal. He really is like someone you really dislike and are annoyed at, and you don't see anything in him of Tommy Shelby whatsoever, really. And the reason because of that is he's basically been 10 years estranged. From 16 to around 26 years old is his rough age. Sorry, 26 in this is his rough age, but since around 16 years old for the last 10 years, he's pretty much ran the modern day at the time, Peaky Blinders, without Tommy Shelby's blessing or any of the original cast members for that matter, you know. We've got Ada, Tommy's sister, running around being the MP now. We kind of left in series 5, 6 thinking that was going to be Tommy, but you know, it's kind of obvious. It was always portrayed over the years that Tommy was eventually losing his mind and eventually going to go absolutely crazy, let alone from the business ventures that he's been involved in, but you know, just simply from being a clay digger in the First World War and up until losing his wife and his daughter, that ultimately destroyed him and would destroy anyone as a man. So with all the other things on top that Tommy has to deal with, it's no surprise that he finds himself in this abandoned, broken down old Peaky Blinders mansion, still working with old Johnny Dogs down there at the house. And of course we do get a couple of the original cast back. Just to read off a couple there, we've got Curly, we've got Charlie back in there. Of course we've got the new introductions of Stephen Graham's character, Hayden Stagg, and Tim Roth coming in as Beckett. I thought Tim Roth in this was amazing. He just plays the casual sort of antagonist so well, and you kind of do like him. It's hard not to like Tim Roth, in all honesty. He's great in everything that he's in, but I feel like the way this modern cast was set up, I really did prefer it. I liked the dynamic between all of the cast members. Actually, it was a little bit of a shame to not have Arthur back. It's the one thing that I didn't enjoy about this film. I feel like he was such a big part of the plot, and I know that Paul Anderson has obviously had a few issues over the years, but I think it would have been a good way to support him and help him if they could have got him on track and brought him back. And who knows what they did try behind the scenes. I shouldn't comment too much because I don't actually know. However, he was a clearly massive part of this story, Arthur. You know, Tommy, you know, it kind of coming out eventually by the end of the film that he actually killed Arthur in a fit of rage. It wasn't an accident. You know, at first we think Arthur kills himself. That didn't happen. Then Tommy says it was an accident. And then he finally comes around to admitting that it wasn't an accident. And it was something that he actually wanted to do because he felt like he couldn't live on his life whilst Arthur was still around, tying him to that Peaky Blinder life, reminding him of everything before, and ultimately causing chaos and havoc everywhere he went. I just think that the scene could have deserved more than what felt like a sort of, you know, muddy flashback that we used to get in the early 2000s of films of not really be able to see what's happening. You know, I would have loved Paul to be able to come back in it and be in this properly, as I think he deserves. But again, I don't know what happened behind the scenes. You know, it makes you appreciate what Peaky Blinders actually is, because I think I was talking about this with my other friend of why Stranger Things didn't land for either of us, and that's simply down to there was no deaths. And no matter what you want to say about that, yes, they're going to be fun adventures. Eventually, you need some stakes for people to truly care and wonder if something's going to happen. In those couple of last episodes, when you know, Steve and Johnny have that moment where he slips but he saves him, you knew nothing was ever going to happen. But in Peaky Blinders, you're never quite sure if something's going to happen, and that keeping you on your edge of your seat all the time is the ultimate thing that they managed to do so well. The beat drops that they managed to do are brilliant as well. Constantly wondering when or if Tommy was going to die throughout this film. The way that he finally does go in the end was, wow, it was chef's kiss. You know, the 3 bullets that got put in the Morris car at the beginning of the film was ultimately the 3 bullets it takes for Tommy to die, and the bullet that had his name inscribed, which is given to Duke by his auntie, ultimately is the bullet that kills Tommy. But it had to happen, and it was exactly how I kind of predicted it to go down as well. I thought that Duke was going to end up killing Tommy. I just thought it was going to be in a sort of, it was going to get Duke out of trouble sort of situation, not to sort of put him down, if you like, of better words. And obviously Duke wasn't the one that actually killed Tommy. You know, that was Tim Roth's character when he was driving towards him. But this was the end of Tommy Shelby, and it had to be as well for good reason. And I think if you're like me, you're okay with that. There could have been a couple more seasons they could have got out of this, but I think really if you look at the truth around it, Cillian Murphy's becoming a big time actor. He's played, you know, Tommy Shelby for half of his life, I think he said, or half of his acting life. It's one of those two. And I think when you get to that sort of stage, yeah, it's time to end it. That's okay. Let's end on a high. Let's just have a series that everyone adores and everyone loves. And if you want to bring it back with modern characters, then go ahead and do it. But let's leave the cast who made Peaky Blinders what it was, you know, where they should be, held in such high regard. I thought this was an absolutely amazing end for Cillian Murphy's Tommy Shelby. I'll miss seeing him on my screen. Kind of crazy it's 2026 and we're still getting new Tommy Shelby content, you know, and that it's a shame it's going to be the end of it, but I'm happy with that. I'm okay with that. Let me know what you guys thought down below. If you got out to the cinema to go and see this, it's obviously coming out on Netflix in a couple of weeks. Not everyone has actually seen this yet. That's actually something I didn't mention, so not many people will know what I'm talking about right now. If you've watched this, I'm assuming you have gone to the cinema or you just don't care about spoilers. There will be a spoiler warning in the title, so yeah, let me know down below your thoughts on this. If you're a Peaky Blinders fan or not, are you going to miss Tommy Shelby, or are you kind of happy that it's all wrapped up now? All right, guys, thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Peace.